In the beginning, I was all alone.
My Lord, you found your beloved child.
And with those words, I was taken to a church that I would call home.
You must do as the Lord says. It is your duty to show love to those who are unbelievers.
I learned that I had been chosen by their God. He had come from beyond the stars of our world and found the shape of man suitable for his divine plan. Our lives were small underneath his gaze, and all we had to do was play the part that he asked of us. Of me. But he would only speak at night during midnight mass, and so I often fell asleep to the singing of morning birds instead. It wasn't too long before I felt the skin on my head bleed and rupture was a symbol of my role, a veined crown that adorned my forehead.
It is time enough.
It is time enough, the priest said. And so they anointed my head in oil and sent me up to the baptismal altar. My body was changed then.
I will grant you one small token as my bride. Think of something beautiful.
Sunrise. I can only imagine the sunrise at dawn. The time when the crying would cease and I could rest. I watched the rays kiss my cold hands and I imagined myself happy. Was I happy to allow such a transformation? My bones shift under my skin, and all that there is under my ribcage, where my heart should be, is lost. I wish the pain would stop. I wish the singing would stop overpowering the screams. Screams that did not seem like they were my own. What does it mean to be a woman? This body is foreign to me, and I can only stare at my reflection with something akin to hunger. It is not my body, and so I can view it clinically and with the eyes of a stranger. And on that note, I could concede that it was desirable. And yet, it is not mine. During the day, I am led from place to place, blandly speaking of love and forgiveness. I am a puppet piloted by the directions of others. I am my own God's given flesh to walk this earth. At night, I listen to the choir of stars sing. I bury my head under the sheets and scream louder and louder and louder and louder. This is not my body. And yet, they all insist that it is me. It is I inside the shell of sinew and bone. I tear at my flesh in an attempt to find me, and I find nothing but blood underneath the skin. And so I live day by day, bearing the Lord's name.
It is the ideal of love. We will bless them, so that one day I may be able to see them through your eyes.
Did it matter then what my own feelings were? If I look and act a certain way, then there is no need for others to challenge their understanding of me. This nebulous misunderstanding of my own soul did not matter. Nothing did, except the way the gaze of others upon my body would enchain my form into that of a loving bride. And if my God told me to love those who came to worship unconditionally, then I would provide. I had nothing else left except for my faith. If I had come to understand the nature of my life, then perhaps the outcome would have been different. But I had always been a loving offering, haven't I? The priest had always told me that as they brushed my hair and dressed me in a white wedding outfit. They stroked my head and told me that obedience was the way of the righteous. My guts spilled from my body as they hacked me to pieces on top of the sacrificial altar. Their blades were sharp and sliced through my limbs as soft as silk. I loved them still, as dutifully as my God had taught me. No matter what, I had to forgive. But what did it matter? I was to die, and my flesh would be burnt, and the divinity inside my veins would return home. And when I ascend past the sky and stars, I would carry with me all the prayers of those who had sinned. So why did I realize now that I had never been truly loved in my pathetic life? That I had only been adored for how I pantomime the act of love? This flesh that wasn't ever truly mine was what was loved, not me. It wasn't me. It isn't. No one ever looked at me. And quietly, through all the pain, I finally heard the sound of my own whisper. I want them to all suffer